not a young gun in Gorilla. I actually love it, though, because replacing Joker with another veteran player who's had so much success internationally and nationally is a really cool idea for SANDBOX in order to hold on to what they'd already established with the loose cannon top side of the map of Summit, OnFleek, and Dove. All three of these players are dominating solo queue at the moment, mostly OnFleek and Dove. I believe OnFleek is rank 7 right now, and Dove is pretty close to that. These things do tend to update though, so we'll see exactly what's happening. And you can see H-Dragon behind them as well, moving over from Jinair Greenwings. Seth and I had this conversation, Achilles and I, about the coaches all just moving around absolutely everywhere.
Yeah.
And this is going to be yet another result of the mass switcheroo of coaching staff here in Korea.
Yeah. One of the regions that had the big shuffle basically going on. NA, obviously, another one. Players and coaches and staff.
We played 52 pickup with the coaches.
Yeah, mostly going places, and so we'll see what type of things end up changing here. So far here in the ban pick, we have Cassiopeia, Olaf, and Akali banned away on Griffin's side. SANDBOX responding with Lucian, Misfortune, and Syndra. MF and Syndra, two of the bans I can really get behind here. Lucian, I'm not a big fan of it.
Still perplexed about that one? How about Sir Thomas? How do we feel about that? Cabby making his debut on Sir Thomas.
I don't think that we're making it through game 1 today, Atlas.
I mean, if there's a way to debut in a regal fashion, Sir Thomas is a way to do that. Right? I mean, I had to add some
Varus is being hovered right now. He's going to be...
All right, well, that is going
to
break up the dynamic Korean duo of the Varus Tom Kench, which we love over here. Well, and by we, I mean a lot of people other than LS.
The thing that's so complex, and I really hope I get to talk about this more, is we're starting to move into some of the more power matches here in KeSPA Cup as it progresses. The changes that supports got in preseason amplifies mage supports to be able to get to their items that much quicker. Now, obviously, a champion like Leona can also get to her tanky items much faster or something, but champions like Tom Kench or champions like Braum, who even got some changes coming into preseason, they shouldn't be allowed to be blinded this early on without getting punished heavily, but instead, SANDBOX, they're just going to handshake it right now with the Varus Nautilus, so yeah. We're doing real well here in game number 1.
Yeah, bit of a handshake, but also the center being let through. That's going to be locked in here by Tarzan for Viper. Viper, of course, very good at being a dark technologist. He's been playing around with a lot of hybrid Ezreal in solo queue recently, which has been a lot of fun to watch. A lot of Omni Stone, which is cool, especially on 9.24b, now that it's become a bit more intelligent. They're getting smarter, LS. As Neon was hovering his Azir, of course, Neon's Azir was unbelievable in 2019. Almost 100% of the reason why I said he was the most improved player and why LS was a bit confused about people not wanting to jump on the Neon hype train a little bit more during the off-season. But that is going to be Tarzan's. Gragas locked in. He's been kicking up a storm in solo queue on that particular pick recently, and of course is a seasoned Gragas player, and the follow-up will be the Rise.
So the thing right now is SANDBOX's team composition is extremely short range. The Rise obviously has versatility, can be flex top and mid lane, but SANDBOX does have counter picks available. They're going to ban away the Yasuo right now, taking away options to have Yasuo Gragas come in from the jungle in mid lane or jungle top lane, whatever you would want to do. There are some times where players in solo queue will go mid Senna or something, but not all that common, as Aatrox now going to be the champion that actually gets banned away, and thematically not a champion that complements SANDBOX's team comp right now.
I don't actually mind it though, just because Summit was so incredibly good at Aatrox. I think this is one of those fringe cases where banning an Aatrox might make sense, even though it is still so popular just generally. Summit was just so good at navigating almost any matchup with the pickup, so I don't mind it. Aurelia going to be the follow-up ban here on SANDBOX's side, just to get rid of a couple of solo laners that can be flexed bottom lane if you would like to. In fact, it's the 2 Senna lane melee champions.
Nice.
Not that they've been doing any winning, but that's where they were. I did need to give it at least some lip service.
All right.
And let's never talk about those lanes ever again, because they were awful.
Well, Lee Song going to be banned away, last by Griffin. And now Jarvan
Yeah, a bit of a favorite for the old on-fleek. Going to be locking that one away. And we'll see whether he's going to be able to make as much good things happen on this pick as we saw previously. Some fun games with some Jarvan comps.
Veigar is absolutely insane right here. Some people might say, well, there's still counter picks remaining for SANDBOX, but he destroys 4 of the champions on the side of SANDBOX. He has really good synergy with the Gragas. Instead, we're going to get an Ornn locked in first. I really don't mind that either. Remember, I talked about SANDBOX. They're very short range. They're extremely heavily focused on engage, and so champions that can disengage, play mid-rangey, be tanky, scale, that's the type of theme that you would want against these champions. And the Qiyana's off theme with the 4 other champs in the comp, so...
But this is the Korea special, LS. They do love this. I know it's not necessarily on the school of League Supreme, okay? I don't want to badmouth that in any way. However, in Korea, if we have an AP jungler, it means we pick a tank and an AD mid laner. You know, we can do that now. This is the flexibility that we add on top of things, and that will be an on top, guys. Chovy's certainly messing with us. I even had Chovy's sort of like Smurf account linked to me. Hasn't been playing any Ornn. He just decided that Ornn mid was going to be his thing yesterday, and did manage to win with it. We're not going to talk about how the game went otherwise, but he did win. That was certainly a thing that happened. And Tara is he was certainly a tank role player for SKT when they were in their heyday, and that was part of the reason why he fell off as far as the fan vote for top laners on SKT, was because it just didn't really fit the meta when all of these carry tops were starting to make their way forward. And Neon is going to be jumping on this assassin in the Qiyana in the mid lane. We'll see how this matchup goes as Summit does lock away the Hemomancer for the top side.
Well, those are going to be the team compositions. See it one more time. Ornn, Gragas, Qiyana, Senna, and Tahm Kench. It's going to be really interesting to see how they try to combat the Vladimir, Jarvan, Ryze, Varus, and Nautilus, because the team comp's trying to do 2 different things, and it's going to be really hard to accomplish, and they descaled themselves. So we'll see what happens here in game number 1.
Griffin? Fans? No? Okay. Not really psyched about Griffin at the moment. Not sure whether that is based on just, you know, some slacking on the fan leader's behalf, or whether this is to do with some of the recent controversies. We're not going to go into it because we just care about the League of Legends, but if you want to find out, it is on the internet, much like anything else.
Well, these monitors are actually really nice.
They
I really
are.
like the clarity.
Yeah, it's much better than the other ones. Actually switched out our monitors, ladies and gentlemen. We are upgrading this broadcast one step at a time, every single day. And yeah, you're right. I think we've got a resolution upgrade as well. It's all just sort of working out. Your one's a little bit higher than mine.
That's okay. I'm lost sight.
Yeah, that's true. So this is just helping you out. I could do with a little bit more of a bend.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna work on it here just for a sec.
All
Oh,
right.
look at that.
Well,
That's fantastic. Oh man, the clarity.
so
We're not going to talk about the brand because we did enough advertising yesterday when it comes to brand names.
starting out here, it's already a little bit perplexing because the Senna and the Tahm Kench are going to have a hard time actually setting anything up in the bottom lane. And the Gragas, he's on the blue side, so if he's going to gank bot lane against the Varus and the Nautilus, they have to be overextended for some reason. But Ryze in mid lane against Qiyana, he has the teleport. He also elected to take Phase Rush. It's really easy for him to just get priority whenever he wants once we start talking about the early into mid transition. And you have to wonder, where is Qiyana ideally trying to go roam? What is she trying to do in just the laning phase as a standalone? Because Griffin, they have the Ornn. You would think that they would want to scale, they want to get Ornn items, they want to accomplish more. But some of their champions just don't care about that, or they just don't have good Ornn items.
Yeah. Well, there are some options here, and as we're seeing, Tarzan has found OnFleek trying to take away his blue buff. And does get the burst damage. Knockup does come through here for OnFleek, though, who's going to get the Conqueror to proc. Hemomancer over there, and the flash is going to be utilized by Tarzan, just expecting Summit to dive over that wall and get that kill. I can respect it, making sure you play safe, more safe than sorry, and denying OnFleek his flash, as well as the blue buff steal means that a lot of time was wasted. So bottom side, bit of action there as Cabby's taking some damage. Leo takes an auto attack back, but definitely a good trade here for SANDBOX.
Well, okay. So Gragas is going to make out ahead in all of this now. He's going to get to path into his red side jungle. He's already going to get started on the golems, but because of the priority in bot lane, the priority in mid lane as well, you can see Rise on the minimap. Jarvan's going to be able to move down. He's going to get that Scuttle Crab at 315. He's going to be able to double crab Gragas. So even though he lost out on the blue smite, everything else should be fine.
Working out just okay here for these guys as Neon understands he's not going to be able to grab that particular minion. So heads up and checks out what Dove is up to. Tara top side of the map, just trying to farm things out here against Summit. Isn't going to have a great time as a Orny boy, but he will be all right. Just going to be a potato as we move towards the later stages of the game and just try and be that frontline and engage for Griffin. I feel like both of these teams have some of the best possible engage champions in the Nautilus and the Ornn as well, so we'll see who's going to be able to get on top of these team fights. I'm looking at SANDBOX's comp though, and I'm thinking a bit of AoE availability here for these guys, right?
Yeah, well.
And some death for Dove there as the flash forward from Neon. OnFleek looking for the knockup, but doesn't even decide to go for it. And all too easily, First Blood is picked up by Griffin.
And it's just one of those ganks that don't really make a lot of sense. Gragas, without flash, runs in there with Predator, just lands the body slam against a Rise who has flash.
You gotta respect that, right?
Nothing else happens, so we're already off to a pretty impressive start here. Tarzan now gonna be on his wolf camp as the Scuttle Crab is just now being taken.
I actually really like it because we don't necessarily know Tarzan as a Gragas player. He's only recently sort of started delving into the Gragas realm, but we saw Kingzone play so much Yasuo Gragas that's, I think, why he's been practicing it so much in solo queue to allow for that sort of play style. Neon, of course, performing very, very well whenever they did manage to get those combination of picks and just adds another arrow to their quiver.
Well, I mean, so far here, he's doing quite well. Also, I mean, obviously the initial smite fight at the beginning, Tarzan was successful in that, so still living up to the standard that many people, and myself even, you know, talking about him right now, would have for him.
Yeah, I'm glad. It's a cast a blessing as opposed to the cast a curse.
Normally I don't have high standards.
Yeah, no, thankfully League Supreme is here giving us everything that we need. Leo getting stunned up there by the center. So far as bottom lanes are concerned, nothing really to report back on, just very even farming and some trading when these players decide they want to. Dove comes down, gets some spell flux there as Neon's going to charge himself up with some grass and misses a cannon creep. Please cut the video.
Well, gold advantage not super big right now. Also, this is the thing I was mentioning, the mobility boots on the Qiyana, but where can she really go unless it's just to hug Gragas? But that would require SANDBOX to not respect the fact that, yeah, Qiyana has mobility boots. Obviously, she's not in mid lane right now. Where could she be?
Somewhere
and then play around
other than mid lane.
And so Vladimir, as long as he keeps this lane in the middle, which you can see actually, Untara keeps auto-attacking minions, and he keeps casting spells that end up hitting minions, so the wave isn't always pushing up, which would be ideal for Ornn Ultimate, Ignite, Qiyana roams, and whatnot, so that you can catch Vladimir through Phase Rush, through Flash, through Sanguine Pool. But the way that everyone's playing their laning phase, it's really, really rough for Griffin.
And it looks like Griffin's playing this out as if they're very comfortable just moving at an even footing towards the mid to late game. Of course, if you guys remember back, Griffin are a team known for very high skill cap team fighting. But is that going to be the same situation without Chovy, without Lehens, and with a movement towards Antara instead of Sword on the top side of the map as far as this particular iteration of Griffin is concerned. We'll see whether it is going to still be one of their hallmarks or whether things are going to change. So much has changed so far here in the LCK or in the KeSPA Cup as far as which teams are doing what. I think it's still likely with the core of Viper and Tarzan that Griffin still will hold some power when it comes to the team fighting.
Yeah.
A bit of a flag there as a love tap.
Isn't the kind of downgrade that people would probably expect?
Yeah.
And I'm mostly attributing that to name value, obviously. He didn't have the best reputation when he was coming from the West. I believe he had the longest losing streak.
He did. He certainly held some records that you definitely don't want to hold, you know?
And I know even talking to European boot campers that have come over that used to play against him when he was in Europe, they did not think very highly of him, but whenever some of them have run into him now in solo queue, their perspective or their opinion on him has definitely changed.
Ooh, Piercing Darkness actually working out here as the snare not quite going to land.
And we're in a mini lull state, and this is a byproduct of the jungle lane matchups. This is you really need to work to manipulate your lane states to be favorable to the Gragas and Qiyana. Otherwise, everyone's just running around like a chicken with its head cut off, and you can't really achieve anything. And so this is the scary situation where Gragas doesn't really have an Ornn item. He has Zanya's Hourglass, not one of the best.
Predator comes in. Tarzan's looking for the solo kill onto OnFleek, but not going to be able to find it. Dove rotates over in time, but this will open up space for Tarzan to steal away. The blue buff just did enough damage for this to be confirmed, and he was never going for that kill. He was just making sure that Jarvan could not contest this, and Tarzan's going to continue finding victory here in the jungle as Antara goes a little bit aggressively onto Summit, but he's got a Fiendish Codex moving towards his Kindle Gem as well, and this Vladimir one level away from that level 9 Nirvana, where he'll be feeling just fine. Oh, Neon pops his way over, looking for OnFleek. A lot of damage. Supreme display of talent. And the Jarvan is smacked against the wall. Summit now safely underneath his turret. And Neon's not going to go for a dive, especially with lacking mana. And this is 2-0 for Neon. This caster blessing from good old League Supreme is working out real well.
Yeah, you know, I did decree it the moment that we came into this.
Is it League Supreme or Lord Supreme?
League Supreme 2019.
Uh-huh.
You know?
Okay.
And I'll win next year as well.
The Lord of the Scene?
Yeah,
It just continues going?
I mean, this is a pretty easy kill right here. Jarvan...
No, that was a Supreme display of talent.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
Yeah. You can't fault me, all right?
All right.
All right, Dove comes on over, spots out that there is a control ward there, but you can see a lot of vision available for SANDBOX as well. OnFleek just sweeping his way towards this top lane and might be able to make it in here to see Antara without being able to... All right, no, never mind. Antara just going to throw a rock at the cannon creep and actually nails that one. Neon just terraforming around this mid lane. I know it's terra-shaped, but I've watched too many sci-fi TV shows. Well,
soon there's a sci-fi movie coming out in Korea that's a little delayed from the rest of the world.
Oh, yeah?
I'm so excited to go see it with you. Hopefully, guys, he doesn't abandon me. Like he did with The Lion King.
Yeah, I did with The Lion King, but I mean, we only had like a week-and-a-half window in order to see The Lion King until it was removed from the cinema for being a terrible movie.
That makes me feel bad.
Well, I mean, I saved you the hassle of having to go and see a worse version of a beloved movie.
True.
You know? Yeah. There we go. And then we did go and see It 2 together, despite what you may have reported back on the Twitters. I was actually really upset. I was like, we had a lovely evening, and then you just go and slander me on the internet. Oh,
what are you a fan of in Star Wars, Jedi or Sith?
I'm a bit of both. I'm a gray area fan.
Ooh, you're a gray Jedi fan.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a gray area fan. As soon as that theory came out, what was it, from the Clone Wars? I was like, this is cool. This is what real drama's made of. You know, I liked it because you know the world isn't black and white. It's not just good or evil. And I'm glad that Star Wars is growing up. You know.
I like that. Well, they don't call me Last Sith for nothing. I gotta tell you that much. You know.
Languished Sith.
As we're in a bit of a lull state.
We are.
We're only 12 minutes deep, but
and we're already talking about Star Wars. Shout out to Dolly.
It's going to be a long night. These drafts, these lane states, we got stuff going on.
Okay, so if this lull state just keeps going until 30 minutes,
yes.
for example, who wins?
SANDBOX.
SANDBOX? Just straight up wins?
We
were right in that the assessment?
All of the Ornn items suck. They're all terrible. They're not the ideal Ornn items that you're looking for. You're looking for Rabadon's Death Cap.
Yeah,
you're looking
build that on
for...
Gragas. Yeah. Death Cap's second item, Gragas jungle. Have you not seen solo queue? You okay?
Leo right now in mid lane.
Leaving soon is what is called now. Oh dear. It's a little bit of a worry. But SANDBOX have grouped up as 5. They're going to take down Shelly. We've got a bit of camouflage down here. Cabby just avoiding all of that CC. Barrel flies through as Gorilla has to flash. Ornhorn from Antara from downtown. Can he get one knock-up? A supreme display of talent only finds Gorilla as OnFleek has a great timepiece. And that will be the end of the Qiyana, just going a little bit too far forward. And now Griffin still trying to get something done, but Antara's off to the side. Gorilla taking some damage, but they still have all 5 members here. And I believe Shelly was also eradicated from the Rift, secured here by OnFleek.
Yeah. Do you think that we're going to see Shirley?
I think Shirley could be certainly making her way onto the Rift, at least without getting taken down, because the respawn timer is going to be up before Baz Kebab does make his way forward.
Well, so far right now in this game, Cloud Dragon was picked up by Griffin. Interestingly enough, it's actually not that bad of a Drake for their champions. We're going to take a quick look at the replay here. So they're funneling into a Rift Herald that's being taken at 13.5 minutes almost, and they elect to take a team fight, but you can just see the angle of approach is way too awkward from everyone on Griffin, but their champions are also trying to do different things.
Yeah.
So the team fight doesn't work out all that well. The Qiyana ends up getting killed, and it's just something that is happening way too early on. So now we're here, 14.5 minutes, 3 minutes until the mountain comes up. Gorilla.
Yep, trying to run away here. Doesn't have his stopwatch anymore, doesn't have his flash, and Viper has an extra kill. So the Nautilus didn't really have too many options in that particular instance and will be taken down in the river.
Meanwhile, up here in top lane, Summit just continuing to farm. Nothing really going on. Now, it's a 500 gold lead right now for Griffin, but all things considered, Vladimir, Rise, they're getting to scale completely for free. And this is going to be a problem for Griffin because their champions don't really fare that well against these two in particular. And so even though there's not a lot of action, and you're watching this game, you're wondering, well, Griffin's the one getting the kills, Griffin has map pressure, Griffin has vision control, they have river control, etc. It doesn't mean anything. It's not equating to anything meaningful. Now, if they could get a double kill right here as well as a turret, that could be okay.
Dredge line comes down. OnFleek in position as the Realm Warp is going to move Dove over. They may have found a pincer, but Neon has already fallen down. And Griffin, they will look for OnFleek. They'll grab him, although he just taxis his way out. Oh, Antara gets it with the first part of the Ornhorn, who sends it back towards Gorilla and Summit, that he should be punished here. 4 members of SANDBOX. Good flash, and is able to use his E in order to get himself out. Antara able to survive this one, but it's a 1-for-1. And anything that goes even feels like a great thing for SANDBOX.
Yeah. They end up losing Jarvan. Obviously, OnFleek being a little bit careless with, I guess, paying attention to what was happening at the fight, because when you're Jarvan, you should be able to cancel any sort of CC or anything that's getting thrown your way. We can take a look at it on the left-hand side. You can actually watch Jarvan. So he sees everything that's happening. He knows that Qiyana would have been dead. Where's he clicking? I don't know. I don't think he knows. So he gets caught up right there. Gragas ultimated the Ornn Ram, letting him know that...
Yep, rammed.
I like what that was very punny.
Yeah.
I like you, Atlas.
The broken shard.
Don't tell Valdez, but I like you more.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Well, I think Valdez might be watching. Let us know on Twitter, Brendan. Just know that I am still your fan, absolutely. And I don't have favorites. You are my favorite LCK color caster right now, LS. Did you know that?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
100% of my vote for LCK current color casters.
Well, I hope I was 100% of your vote yesterday, too.
Oh, you definitely were.
Yeah.
I'm certainly not up there as far as analysis is concerned. But I had a lot of fun. Great to have Achilleos back with us, right?
Yeah. I only got to cast with him once.
I know, but it was good fun listening to you guys.
Well, Mountain Dragon gonna be spawning right now. They're summoning the Rift Herald at the same time, so they're gonna use this to crash into mid lane, guarantee that they're gonna be the ones that get to path right side river, clear out all the wards, set down their own, and then start the Mountain Drake. I don't know why they're escorting it all the way, but
yeah, a bit
it's
of
gonna be a free
out,
mountain
Shelly.
pickup. Now, the thing about this that is obnoxious is even though SANDBOX is not really building that many resistances, they do have some right now, and it really does hurt your champions like Kiana and Gragas because it makes it that much harder to burst.
Well, Ornhorn is coming in here as the Ram doesn't come back again. Infernal Rift is upon us as Summit's going to find a lot of Tides of Blood damage. That looked like a Hemoplague, but actually it was just Dragon taking over the Rift, and they are going to move themselves out because, of course, the Hemoplague was already on cooldown. A little bit unfortunate that Antara didn't manage to press that R button a second time. Didn't actually see whether it was interrupted or anything like that, as you can do. CC the Ornn when the Ram comes back, and he can't smack it towards you. He has himself a pretty cool mask, though, and we'll have a look to see what else he's going to be upgrading. Viper might have to build a Black Cleaver just so that he can get an Ord item of some kind.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing right now, though, is that the Infernal Dragon makes it very spicy for both teams. Obviously, the Infernal Dragon gives Griffin some of the damage that they would need, ideally, to try to break through SANDBOX, but likewise, the Infernal Dragon will suffocate all hope that Griffin would have at trying to coordinate some sort of miracle team fight. So, it's interestingly enough the most impactful. An Ocean Dragon wouldn't have really done anything for Griffin, but it would have done a lot for SANDBOX, so we got the best RNG.
Wouldn't mind an Ocean Dragon for an Ornn, you know, because Griffin does
pretty,
have like a
okay
front line, so he can utilize it. However, I certainly do understand. Second Ornn upgrade will be that Sunfire Cape, so an extra 2,000 gold worth of items here for Antara.
No one's building Ornn items.
Yeah, no, we don't have any
He's about
just
to
yet.
level up. No one has an Ornn item. I think the first one is going to be Redemption on Sir Thomas.
Yeah.
I actually, I removed his Knight ship, by the way. He doesn't belong here anymore.
Wait, he's just Thomas? Wait, didn't you call him Tim?
His name is Tim now.
Yeah, it's Tim now.
He doesn't deserve his name anymore.
Yeah.
That was the first thing that I did in office.
Timothy Kenshins.
Yeah.
Good old Timothy Kenshins. He sounds a little bit like a peasant with a name like that, but you take the Sir away and anyone's going to, is Tarzan.
Yeah.
Booking it towards this mid lane as Summit's taken a lot of damage, actually.
Oh,
Has to pull,
him.
but he's already slowed. Thankfully, the Realm Warp is going to get him to safety. The boot back! And that was fantastic by Tarzan. A well-placed cask. And the party is now on for Griffin, who starts sieging up this outer turret in the mid lane.
And so this is what SANDBOX gets for trying to push a middle tier 1 turret for 500 gold while their team composition is still scaling.
Yeah, Gorilla going to be snared here as Dove goes into his Zonya's Hourglass. The fight is on as Naeon ducks in, ducks back out again. Not going to get hit by too much as the ultimate flies forward. The Dawning Shadow actually doing a lot of work here on Viper's side, who will now be able to set up for a siege as Naeon just pokes his head out the corner and finds the kill with the grassed up Q button. Gorilla over to the side, Titan's Wrath active. Naeon not going to go for it, didn't have the cooldowns available. He still was sitting on Ignite though. I actually feel like he possibly could have just killed Gorilla just there, but it looks like the mid game is here for Griffin, and they're making it sting. SANDBOX almost 2,000 gold behind.
SANDBOX is behind in gold right now, but you can see that the mid and bot tier 1 turrets are both on their last leg.
That's true. Some standing gold available here for SANDBOX.
Definitely a lot of standing gold. Minute and a half until the Infernal Dragon, and there were some spells that were committed this fight. Now, you're a SANDBOX fan. I gotta be candid with you. There's no reason to be pushing for 500 gold right now at this stage of the game. Now, obviously, that's a very sad cinematic, but Griffin really quick to capitalize and punish the overextension by SANDBOX. Did come at the cost of some summoner spells, and they won't have those available to them now at the Infernal Dragon, and that's the real objective. Now, in this game, Infernal, all the dragons have sort of been nerfed. So giving up this Infernal isn't the end of the world. And given that both teams are still ways away from a soul, Griffin, they still have time to try to win this.
Well, I think, you know, they're winning right now. Things are going okay for Griffin, but like you say, does certainly feel like a bit of a time bomb. I feel like Ornn does mess things around a little bit when it comes to scaling options and things like that, because I feel like once he starts hitting these Ornn items, assuming we'll have some relevant ones to donate around to his carries, it does sort of mean that you have more of a lead than the top of the screen will have you know. We had that weird situation yesterday where DragonX had all the Ornn items, but you know their opponents had, Spear Gaming had the Dragon Soul, and I was trying to equate to exactly what that meant as far as, you know, gold values for statistics gained by each of those, and I didn't quite get there, to be perfectly honest. It's quite difficult to figure it out. Maybe you know, League Supreme, being a smarter man than I, could have worked it out, but he was not there. Snare gonna land onto OnFleek. This is good chip damage to come through here as Callie gets himself out. Sorry, Tarzan gets himself out. Dawning Shadow comes down as Antara just headbutts the wall. Not entirely sure why, however, he is going to survive, and Griffin continue to have control over this river, and the Infernal Drake goes back to sleep in the Dragon Pit. Aeon into the brush. He's just being sneaky here towards the bottom side. Griffin not wanting to give this one away as Earth, Wind, and Fire has been completed, at least as far as Drake's present on the map. Leo going to get hit by any of those stray skill shots as Viper continues to be parked here in this mid lane. Just quietly, the Senna has got herself up to a 2-0 and 2 scoreline. Viper playing very well on the new flavor of the month. There's now the Ornhorn just for zoning. Get these SANDBOX members out of the way of the outer turret, and the first turret for Griffin will go down, extending that gold lead back to where it was before SANDBOX got their first turret.
Yeah, and also Infernal Dragon, I don't know why they're taking so long to capture it. Gragas actually even doing his Raptors first. Now they're going to move over, and Tara going to be the one to start it.
Some cool interactions as this game goes forward as well. We do have double smite availability with the Unsealed Spellbook coming in for the Ornn. So Antara could help Griffin secure that big objective, especially if the Elder Drake comes forward. I know that ULS are a big fan of the Elder Drake as far as its power level is concerned. Maybe not a fan of its level of balance, but it is a pretty strong dragon.
It's a really, really good dragon. It's pretty imbalanced, which I'm a huge fan of imbalance.
You're an Imba guy? Imba fan?
Yeah, I love imbalance versus imbalance. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just
when
equal levels of chaos.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
That's how I like to live.
We'll see whether we do get that level of chaos as this game goes on. I don't like it as much because I find it confuses me in while I'm doing my job. You know, you got to yell about things, and if there's too much chaos going on, you just don't know where to look.
I thought your job was a male model.
Oh. No, it's definitely not my job. Knockout comes forward here, and Summit's job doesn't look to be killing Antara at this stage, but he's also not going to be dying just yet. And gets himself some stealth and picks up yet another one. It can be frustrating. A lot of cooldown reduction now built up for this Kiana. And also triple serrated Dirk worth of lethality.
We'll see when some of these guys can start getting Ornn items, though.
Yeah, we still don't have them yet.
For Gragas. Yeah, and that's just really sad, honestly. It's so much gold value.
I mean, if he builds a Zhonya's, he can Ornn item that one, can't he?
Yeah, he can Ornn item that. Yumu's probably going to be the Ornn item for Nahon, which...
Tara didn't like his house being taken down just there as the Dawning Shadow flies in as well. Summit, I believe, will have the pool available, and Crimson Rush is there also. Phase Rush also, so he's absolutely fine. A lot of rushing going on Vladimir's side. There was a Russian joke that I could have made there, but just didn't quite find the right one.
Who's your favorite Jedi?
My favorite Jedi?
Yeah.
Mace Windu, by far.
Really? The purple lightsaber?
Absolutely. So good. Okay. And the story about Samuel L. Jackson getting the purple lightsaber as well is just brilliant.
And what about who's favorite Jedi or Sith?
Favorite Jedi or... Ooh. I feel like... it's weird saying Mace Windu, right? Because he wasn't exactly in the best Star Wars movies.
Okay.
But as far as, like, story is concerned, oh, man, it's hard. Because there are some really cool ones... but from, you know, some of the fiction that I don't even think is canon anymore, because canon got a lot of the fiction has been scrapped.
Okay.
Since Disney took hold. I think that's to make room for all the TV shows that they're making, and I'm okay with that because watching Mandalorian certainly had a whole lot of fun.
I haven't seen that yet.
You gotta watch it with an open mind. I think, like, if you're a diehard Star Wars fan, you're probably not going to be like super psyched about it. But I just loved how Star Warsy it was shot.
Okay.
It just feels like a Star Wars show in the right way. Like, they have all of the cheesy pans and transitions and stuff that George Lucas was known for in his original trilogy. So I just, you know, I felt like a kid again watching it. It was really cool.
Okay. Okay.
And yeah, maybe I spoke a little bit too much there. But don't necessarily have a favorite Sith or Jedi outside of Mace Windu.
Okay. That's fine.
I do have a favorite Jedi, though.
Jedi?
Yeah. It's where you moor a boat. Small boat.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't need to talk about it, though, because it's entirely irrelevant.
All right.
Griffin are in the mid lane, League Supreme, and they're looking to try and start themselves a fight, because there's a Vladimir waiting in the wings. He's got Control Ward Vision available as well, but now their Varus doesn't have a lot of health. Viper's really starting to stack this center up, and it's beginning to hurt, especially with that Energized passive there, and Swifty Boots, which doesn't add to the damage at all. However, it looks really cool. Did you ever read those comics, Asterix and Obelix?
Think I read?
Maybe sometime.
No, the only thing I read is...
the Reddit comments on the thread about your Twitter poll?
Yes,
that's
correct.
That's what you read about? All right, well, that's good to know. Asterix and Obelix was it's an old comic series, and it's about sort of Gauls and Romans back in ancient times. And these guys have like wings on their shoes, and it looks very similar to Swifty Boots. So
right, that's fine.
I brought it back to being relevant. It took a while, and it's also going to take a while to kill Untara, especially with Cabby making his way in. Now Griffin looking for the turnaround. The horn is yet to be blown. Which one is it? Horn of Gondor, maybe? Do you have a favorite horn from a fantasy
You're going everywhere
movie?
tonight.
I am.
I really do like this.
I'm stepping well and truly out of our general comfort zone.
Speaking of horns and stuff like that, you know when Gandalf?
Yeah.
Okay, that was like Europe yesterday on Twitter, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
That is exactly.
Look to the east on the dawn of the third day. Well, Summit's looking for it here as well as Gorilla dives on forward. A lot of damage coming out from the center, but Leo's already taken down Cabby. Supreme display of talent into the backline, but Dove isn't going to die, and Neon is going to. Leo making his debut count, but Viper is answering back as well. It is going to be a 2-for-1 trade in favor of SANDBOX, but some very low health bars. Gorilla has to go home. No teleport available for him. However, Dove can make his way back through with that Summoner spell.
And the issue with this is that Summoners are so much more important on the side of Griffin than they are on SANDBOX, just because of the nature of SANDBOX's team composition. So, obviously that was very dicey. Viper did barely manage to live there. Summit almost getting the assassination off onto him, but didn't quite do it. And now Leo is going to solo this Infernal Dragon. Let's take a look at his stats right now. Not going to get too much. Wow, 7 AD and 1 AP. Wow. Nothing to write home about, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, not exactly fantastic, but the old nerfed single Infernal Drake leaves a little to be desired, especially based on what we're used to. So that's
actually
okay.
That's so low.
Yeah, it's a really 5%. 5% is not a very large number.
No, I tweeted about this, I believe a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, that all the dragons are so weak right now that you can, in theory, surrender the first 3 in favor of scaling or mid-rangey type of team comps, because they just don't give realistically that much, and then you can just start winning from there forward. But take a look at the replay, and it actually starts off very disjointed here for SANDBOX.
The flash from Leo was really clean.
Leo manages to get a lot of free damage, and you can see in the background Summit and Viper going toe-to-toe, but Viper just barely manages to live there. Had he died as well,
And
also
also,
definitely been pretty bad.
Yeah, Gorilla had his W back available just as the last tick of Neon's Ignite was about to go down. So it was almost a 2 for 2.
What? Wait, wait, they keep not building Ornn items.
Yeah, I mean, the Redemption's still yet to be Ornned, as OnFleek dives on top of Cabby and Viper, but Viper gets devoured, thrown back in. Chains of Corruption doing a lot of work as Cabby goes down to the grey health, but it's not enough to save him. Into the backline goes Summit, gigantic Vladimir damage, as there is not enough talent available anywhere in order to save this team fight. Leo does go down for the first time in his SANDBOX career. However, it doesn't seem to matter. Summit is here reminding us just how damn good he is at League of Legends.
And I mean, this is what I was sort of alluding to earlier on, that when this stage of the game ends up being reached, you don't have items, your team composition's trying to achieve different things. SANDBOX now, they're going to get the Baron. They're going to be able to annihilate Griffin with this Baron, because Griffin does not have an anti-Baron type of team comp. And we're going to take a look at how it all starts. So, Cataclysm comes out, Sir Thomas Kench locks himself up, and then gets locked up by the Nautilus. Everything is now disjointed for Griffin. Vladimir, way too big. Nahyun, you don't have enough damage on Qiyana against these champions, and there's just no angle of approach because of the way that SANDBOX is going to format.
And especially now, because Leo has himself a Guardian Angel, so the one shot from the Qiyana is going to be impossible until that is taken care of. It just feels like there isn't a team fight in any iteration that Griffin are going to be able to take down, and they don't have one of those compositions that can pivot into 1-3-1, that can pivot into some sort of split-up siege style. Even a 4-1 comp is going to be really hard for this squad, as Neon has the Ignite on the Qiyana. He doesn't have the ability to teleport to assist the rest of his team. It feels like the time of Griffin this game is well and truly getting towards its end, without too much of a light at the end of the tunnel. SANDBOX pressuring up towards the top side of the map. Bottom side, it's going to be Neon backing away, as this bottom outer turret might just be taken by the minions, but Antara, he still wants to give it another go. Dove is going to go golden, dodges out of almost every ability there, as there is a big Ornn in the backline. He goes gold as well, dodges a knock-up, but now has to flash in order to get himself out of the way. Cabby diving on back, but look at Summit, no fear whatsoever. Might need a little bit, as this turret got a little bit angry, but it's going to be taken down in a matter of seconds, and Tara still looking for yet another fight. The ultimate almost back off cooldown again, now that he's level 17. SANDBOX, they move themselves back. Dove has teleport if they want to get some sort of flank, and he might be looking for it now, as SANDBOX do back themselves out and will possibly be able to get themselves to a regroup. Neon deep in enemy territory. There's the Abyssal Voyage, and they are dying to try and get on top of SANDBOX right here. Teleport comes forward. They will be able to get themselves in, but look at that. Neon gets forward, finds the supreme display of talent, destroys Summit before he can even pull, and this might be the opportunity that Griffin were looking for. Flash forward, Leo's going to be taken down to the Guardian Angel, and now finds himself in amongst 5 members of a Griffin team that have stolen a team fight from underneath a Baroned up SANDBOX.
No, I think they win. I think they win.
Could this just be the push all the way through?
Yeah, they had the minion wave on Fleek, is not on point. He went mid lane.
He needed to have held some minion waves here, but he was unable to. No inhibitor take as well on the top side, and OnFleek understands now that he just needs to try and put them in the baby cage for as long as possible, but the Rams are out. They've decided they're not going to be able to do it in time. 2 Nexus turrets to get through. And Griffin, they do take the top inhibitor and they keep this game alive. They should be able to also get themselves towards 1 Drake away from an Infernal Soul.
There's no Baron up right now. They could sacrifice 2 members to get a Nexus turret at the very least, even if they die. There's no objective, all waves pushed in. But here in the replay, they follow them all the way back up the map. SANDBOX, obviously, they just got caught completely out of it. And because the other minion wave is in close proximity, they're able to ride this all the way up top wave and then almost threaten to end, but good Cataclysm into an EQ by OnFleek, but really surprising by Griffin. They end up backing out, and SANDBOX even get the Infernal, so...
And we get a super upgraded Ghosty Blade that Neon's put together as well, so that's cool. I think it's the only lethality upgrade possible.
Yeah. It is a good
item.
It's quite good when you're going lethality. It's definitely
Does it actually
feels bad though when the opponents have a mountain dragon and then have armor.
And double Infernal Drake as well, so they're going to be offering a lot of damage back also. I do understand that. But we even have the Mega Zonyas, the epic timepiece. I don't really... It's like Swatch to Rolex or something like that. Although, wait, Swatch is like a pretty good brand name these days, isn't it? I don't even really know. I don't know enough about watches, to be honest. I really chose the wrong analogy. But
okay. It's no problem, Atlas. No pressure.
I just don't know any Hourglass brands, you know?
Ooh, I haven't even seen an Hourglass in so long.
Yeah, neither have I. Sundials. Seen a few of those. Have you seen Hercules, the Disney movie?
No.
It's like, hey man, want to buy a sundial? It's one of the best lines in the movie. You got to watch it. Definitely need to watch that.
I'm not watching it now. You didn't sell me on it.
I didn't?
Nope.
Really? It's got Danny DeVito in it.
You sold me.
Done. Let's go. We can find it at the movies. There might be like a retro movie that we can go.
There is a retro
together.
theater here in Korea.
Yeah.
We can go together.
Heard about it. All right, cool. Let's hope that they put on Hercules at some time. Amazing soundtrack as well. So. I
want to watch The Notebook with you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I've seen that one before. Wasn't a huge fan.
Okay. No big deal.
Yeah, there are other romance dramas that we could watch if you'd like to. What about Time? Did you like that one? Did you watch that one?
No, actually.
No, it's a great one. It's a bit about time travel, but mostly about relationships.
Okay.
I like
about relationships. You Season 2 just came out on Netflix.
Yeah, I started watching it. Saw the first episode.
Okay.
How did you feel?
So you mean Season 2, Episode 1?
Yeah, Season 2, Episode 1, yeah.
It didn't capture me.
Yeah, I sort of wasn't quite there, and I felt like... I don't want to give anything away, like spoilers or anything like that, but I felt like the end of the episode as well was a little bit like, well, obviously, and probably wasn't supposed to.
It left me feeling like the wait wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
But hopefully Episode 2 does something, but I could definitely see a viewer drop off the cliff.
Yeah, I really wanted to see like a full turnaround, you know, like the shoes on the other foot type scenario, and I just don't think we're building towards that. I've only seen the first episode though, so
that's fine.
I'm not going to be able to be a full-on critic, nor am I a film critic or a TV show critic. Neon is a sneak right now. Waiting in this brush, does have the extra shielding available, and of course his ornificated Ghost Blade. What do you call it? Spectre Blade now? What can you call it for an upgraded Youmuu's Ghost Blade?
It has a name.
I know, but it's not as fun.
Oh, let's call it...
Youmuu's Claymore? It needs to have a ghosty vibe to it, doesn't it?
Gengar's Ghost Blade.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
I was going to go with Luigi's Mansion 3, so maybe Gengar's Ghost Blade's
the item to the left of it.
Oh, that's the edge of night?
So it does look like a house?
The edge of night?
The edge of night. That's Luigi's
Mansion 3. Beautiful. And then we've got the Umbral Glaive, my favorite item that I talk about every single day.
Mario tried to kill him with it or something. I
thought you were going to call it Mario Kart 8. I'm like, how is that anything? I don't quite understand this one. Oh, another possible ornificated item as Viper picks up the Infinity Edge as his final one. But I don't think... Are there any Orn item slots left available? I believe there are.
What do you mean? Everyone can get one.
Everyone can get one? Okay, then we have the Molten Edge availability here. As Untara at level 18 should have that option as he goes back. See whether he divvies that one out to Viper.
Well, this is going to be the problem now for Griffin, is they don't have the ability... I don't know where I was going with that. The ability to start Baron on their own.
Uh-huh.
And now there's going to be...
Press your on button. There we go, there we go.
Infernal Soul on the other side of the map. So they're going to be guillotined by these two major neutrals. And if you trade Baron for Infernal Soul, you're losing.
Yeah.
You don't get Infernal Soul if you try to go to the Dragon. So if you trade Dragon for Baron, you're losing. And they're going to try to start it right now. You can see Nahan trying to look for a flank.
He's actually unseen by the rest of SANDBOX. SANDBOX, you can see playing defensively because of that. The turn has now happened, though. They move themselves down. Dub was thinking about grabbing himself an Infernal Drake in the meantime, but he hadn't started it.
This is the pledge.
Oh, yeah?
Now we're at the turn.
All right, well, let's just see. There's the Infernal Soul. That's going to come forward. A lot of extra damage now available, but it's a decent fight
Whoa,
thus far.
Nega!
Look at that, into the back line.
No!
Supreme display of talent is going to be denied, however, as Leo doesn't even go down. And Tara has a hell of a lot of health, a hell of a lot of damage is available from Viper, but now the Realm Warp is going to deny him any of that DPS into the backline, and SANDBOX are running through Griffin like a freight train.
Team comp imbalance, Atlas. What's going on here?
Straight up, this is that Imber that you are looking for. League Supreme is a happy boy today because he got exactly what he desired, and SANDBOX are just going to roam themselves towards the finish line, which shaped itself like a nexus. And Griffin going to lose theirs. Viper, I don't think there's going to be anything that he can do despite hitting on Fleek with his W. Fair bit of damage there from the Darkness, and even just pops Gorilla. Speaking of pop, he's going to do the same thing as Summit. He's got a lot of items, he's got a lot of damage, and SANDBOX have their first win here in the KeSPA Cup for 2019.